everybody just understand, till now what we have seen is all about signals, right? So we have talked about systems very little. Fine. So in module 2 that we have taken up now, okay, so we shall see the properties of systems. I've told you every signal is associated with a system. Our system will have the importance only if there is a signal associated with it. So there is no importance to signal without a system associated to it, or there is no importance to system if the signal is not involved. So there has to be a system and signal going hand in hand. Get that point? So we have got a fair idea regarding the signals. What is a signal? It's a function of time. How many classifications are there? Okay, how to obtain the discrete time signal from continuous time? What are even, odd? What are periodic, non-periodic? Energy, then power. All this we have seen in all the detail. Right now, with that introduction to signals, now let's see the systems. Fine. So the first property of this system that we are looking at is linearity property. Okay, so this is very simple property. Very simple in the sense that if you understand it is simple, otherwise it's very confusing. Fine. Now let me tell you, before I go into these properties directly, let me tell you how the system should look like. Okay, so everybody just see this. We have yes, yeah. See here, we have a system, suppose like this. Okay, this can be called as a system. Fine. Now, to the system, we apply a signal. Everybody understand? We apply a signal and let that signal be x of t. Okay, when x of t is applied, a system which is defined by this operator. Here, these are flower brackets. We write a dot here. So this is a denominator. This is the notation of a system. This is how a system is represented, which means that this is transformation on what is being applied to the system. So that means if we say y of t is the system output, okay, then it looks like transformation on the input x of t. Everybody understand this point? So what is a system? A system is one which will transform the input to its new form, which is called as the output of the system. Understand that? So this is input to the system. This is output of the system, okay, which has transformed input. Understand that? So if the input is same, what would be the system? In which system we have got the same input? What I mean is this. Suppose you have a system. Okay, you have a system. This is the short form of a system. Okay, if you give x of t, it will give us x of t only. Your y of t would also be x of t. Can you give me the example of such a system? In basic electronics, you have seen one such system wherein if you apply an input, the output would also be the same. Anybody, do you remember that?
Voltage follower.
Lovely. That's voltage follower. Good. So voltage follower is a system voltage follower is a system, okay, which gives us the same output as input. So this is the rarest of the situations, but in most of the other cases the output would be something different than input, isn't it? Now suppose you have a system. Suppose you have a system, okay, and to that you apply input x of t, okay, and the output is going to be this. What is that? Let's say a into x of t, where a is greater than 1. Can you identify the system? Can you identify the system where if you apply x of t, we will have ax of t? What's happening? Which operation is performed on this? Which operation is this? We have seen the operation on signals, right? So some operation is performed on the input here. Input is x of t, okay? By the time it comes out as the output, okay, this operation is performed on x of t. So which operation is this? Which
Amplification.
Amplitude scaling is this. Amplitude scaling, okay, we are doing amplitude scaling with a greater than 1. That means it's an amplifier. Good. So this is how the things go, okay? So this is an amplifier which amplifies the signal. So how do we understand it is amplifying? Because a is greater than 1, so that means this y of t would be greater than x of t, okay, in magnitude. That's why it is amplifying the signal. Understand that? Now this is what is the system, and this is what is the relation between the output and input of the system. So did you get the fair idea now? So what is system doing? System is transforming input to some other form or the required form, okay, except for voltage follower. In all other systems, okay, whether you take communication system or you take your biological system, your body itself, it's your body is a beautiful example for a system, okay. God's creation, we say, okay, is a perfect example of system. Whichever example you take, whichever classification you take, the human body fits in there very aptly. Understand that? So everything is a system, okay, which transforms the input applied to it to a different form or a required form. If you want amplification, then you scale the amplitude. If you need shift of the signal, then you shift the time to a different place. Time shifted signal you will get. Understand that? So this is how our system and inputs look like. Now, if we have to understand the properties, everybody see here, let's go with the properties. And the first property that we are seeing is linearity property. Okay, the first one is linearity. What is linearity doing? Before going with the definition of that, okay, let me give you the fair idea regarding what is that this property is all about. Fine. Now let's have a system first. Let's have a system. Fine. So this is a system. Now the input to this system is what? Is actually this a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. Understand? So if we have to prove that the system is linear, then we have to take two signals, but they are not just signals. Okay, see here, let me just make you understand this particular input first, then we shall come to the output. Fine. So what is input telling you? input is, it's sum of two signals, right? X1 of t and X2 of t, but they are not simply signals. Along with signals, we have A and B also. Understand that? Okay, so it is not just the sum of the signals, but sum of the weighted signals. Now we say scaling, right? Scaling the signal, we say, right? Scaling the signal can also be explained as applying weights. Applying weights, we call it as scaling a signal or applying the weights to the signal. Understand? So A and B can be called as here, this A and this B. Okay, so this A and this B can be called as scalars, or they can call as weights. Okay, and what is Ax of n, a bx2 of t can be called as C, x1 of t and x2 of t are signals. Okay, ax1 of t or bx2 of t are what? What can these be called as? So they are scaled signals, or what? Weighted signals. Understand this? So they can be called as scaled signals or weighted signals. Fine. So x1 of 2, x2 of 2, sorry, x1 of t and x2 of t are signals. Ax1 of t and bx2 of t are scaled signals or weighted signals. Okay. So if ax1 of t is a weighted signal and bx2 of t is another weighted signal, what is this whole stuff? So this is a weighted signal. This is a weighted signal. Okay. What is this whole stuff? This is sum of the weighted signals. Sum of the weighted signals, or sometimes they'll call as signals or weighted sum of the signals. Sometimes they call this as. Understand? So what is the input to the system when we are understanding the linearity? When we have to prove that system is linear, we take the weighted sum of the signals as the input to the system. Is that understood, everybody? So what is that we are considering as the input? We are considering weighted sum of the inputs, sum of the weighted signals, or sum of the or weighted sum of the signals. So that's quite confusing, but in the textbook he calls this as weighted sum of the inputs or weighted sum of the signals. Understand that? So since the signals are inputs here, so this can be called as weighted sum of the inputs. Everybody understand that? So this is about the input that we are applying to the system. So if we apply the input to the system, what is supposed to be the output? Y of t. Now see here, if you apply x of t, okay, you will get y of t, right? What is y of t? Y of t is actually transformation of x of t. This transformation of x of t could be x of t itself if it is an voltage follower. The transformation of the signal can be ax of t, where a is greater than 1 if it is amplifier. Understand that? So that means the output is transformation of the input. Okay, so that means this output is now the transformation of the input, which is weighted sum of the inputs. So this is what you should understand. Is this okay with you, everybody? So what we have done now, so we have taken the weighted sum of the inputs, and what would be the output? Output would be the transformation on weighted sum of the inputs. Is that understood, everybody? Okay. Now with this understanding, let's move further. Okay. So what is that we'll be doing now? We'll be doing this. So what is the output of the system which is linear? So the output of a system which is linear is represented as transformation on a x1 of t, okay, plus b x2 of t. It's not a1, okay, it's a. So if you use a1 in place of b, you can use a2, not a problem. Understand this? Now linearity says that, okay, so if a scalar is associated with the signal, then the scalar can be kept out and the transformation can only be applied on the signal, okay, and the second scalar also can be kept out and the transformation can only be applied on the signal. Understand it? So this can be written as a into y1 of t plus b into y2 of t, because see here, transformation on x1 of t will give you an output y1 of t, and transformation on x2 of t will give you the output y2 of t. So this is how. So if in a system this scalars can be kept out and the transformation can be applied on a signal, if the input, if the system is like that, then we can call such system as linear system. Everybody understand that? So when can we call a system as linear? We can call a system as linear when the scalars can be taken out and transformation can only be applied on the signal. So if such a provision is there, okay, in a system, then such a system is called as linear system. Everybody understand this? Okay. Now let me ask you this. Suppose you have a system. Let me go with this material. So what is linearity? It very clearly tells you now. Okay, with whatever we have understood, just see the definition of linearity. A continuous time system is described by this operator is linear. Okay, if the response to the weighted sum of the inputs, so this is weighted sum of the inputs. So response to this weighted sum of the inputs is weighted sum of the responses. So I said transformation, right? So that transformation can also be called as the response. See here. So I told, so this is the input. Okay. So this is response to the input. Okay. Response to the weighted sum of the inputs if is equal to weighted sum of the responses. So these are inputs, these are the responses. Response to the weighted sum of the inputs if is equal to weighted sum of the responses, then the system is linear. This is a little confusing. You have to listen to me very carefully. I'm not telling anything different. I'm telling what is being shown here. So this I told transformation on, right? So we shall just use the word transformation and then go with the word response. If a system is called linear system if the transformation on weighted sum of the signals is equal to weighted sum of transformations. Weighted sum of, these are weighted sum of transformations. This is transformation on weighted sum of inputs. Okay, or this is response to weighted sum of inputs, and if the response to weighted sum of inputs is equal to weighted sum of the responses, then it is called as linear system. Okay, now this is called as superposition principle. So what we have done here is called as superposition. What is superposition? If you are able to keep the scalar out, and apply the transform only on the signal, then we can call it as superposition principle. This is also true for discrete signals. So whatever we have been seeing for continuous time signal is also true for discrete signals. Now, can you see this particular example? Ideal amplifier has been considered. Now you have to tell me whether this ideal amplifier is linear or not. And they say that it is linear. For example, they have considered this ideal amplifier and they are saying that this ideal amplifier is a linear system. So if you apply x of t, that will give us kx of t, where k is greater than 1 because it is amplifier. So they are saying that it is linear. So let's verify. How to verify that it is linear? Let the input be this. Instead of giving one input x of t, we will take weighted sum of the inputs. Okay, so let the input be weighted sum of the inputs. So transformation on this is going to be what? So if this is the input, response to this input would be k into the input. If x of t is the input, it is k into x of t. If weighted sum of the inputs is the input, then it is k into weighted sum of the inputs is the output. Is this understood now? So now we can rearrange this. See here, just rearrange this. So what way? A1 is kept out, kx1 of t is written, plus b1 is kept out, kx2 of t is written. Okay. Now what is kx1 of t? If kx of t is response to x of t, everybody understand that? If kx of t is the response to x of t, then kx1 of t is the response to x1 of t. Then kx2 of t is the response to x2 of t. See? So if this can be expressed in this form, then it is a linear system. Not in all the systems it would be possible. Not in all the systems this would be possible. Okay? In ideal amplifier, yes, if the input is this, we can express the output in this form. Let's understand that. If it is possible, then the system is linear. I repeat, the input which is in this form, or the output or the transformation of this input, if it can be written like this, then the system can be called as linear system. Now you consider this squaring circuit. Okay, consider this squaring circuit. We are looking at another example wherein the system is not linear, it is non-linear. Everybody understand that? So let's take a system wherein if you apply x of t, the output is x squared of t. So let me just solve that problem as example. Okay, so example 1. What is that we are taking? Amplifier. What is amplifier output? If you have y of t, okay, which is transformation on the input x of t, then the transformation is going to look like k into x of t as they have given there, where k is greater than 1. Check if it is linear. Check if it is linear. So whenever we check for linearity, okay, what do? We consider this. Consider transformation on a x1 of t plus b x2 of t. So if we have transformation on x of t, it is k into x of t. What is transformation on this? Transformation on this is what? K into a x1 of t plus b x2 of t, because it's k times the input, right? K times the input. So what is the input here? This is the input, so it is k times the input. That's it. Fine. So how can I rearrange this? So rearrange this as a into k times x1 of t plus b into k times x2 of t. Now, if kx of t is response to x of t, everybody understand? If kx of t is the response to x of t, then what is kx1 of t? Kx1 of t is the response to x1 of t. Okay, and kx2 of t is the response to x2 of t. x2 of t. So since this response to the weighted sum of the inputs is actually equal to weighted sum of the responses, okay, the amplifier is a linear circuit. Now consider example 2. Therefore amplifier is linear. Okay, so this is what is the conclusion. Let's take example 2. Example 2. What is that we are doing in example 2? We are considering a squaring circuit as the system. See, what is the system here? The system that we are considering is squaring circuit. What does it do? What does it do? If you give x of t, if you give x of t as the input, response to x of t would be x squared of t. So this is squaring circuit. Check if it is linear. Check if it is linear. What is that? To check linearity. Okay. So what we need to consider? We need to consider response to the input, and the input is ax1 of t plus bx2 of t. Okay. So how does it look like? If you give x of t, it will give x squared of t. If you give input, it will give a square of the input. So if you give this input, the output would be square of this. Okay. So what is that? Is a x1 of t plus b x2 of t whole squared. So it is a plus b whole squared form, right? So we can write it as a square x1 squared t plus b square x2 squared t plus 2ab x1 of t x2 of t. Now try to rearrange this so that you can have this particular form. Is it possible to express this in this particular form? No, it is not possible, because we've got so many extra terms here. A should not have been squared. The scalar is getting squared. In the transformation, the scalar should not be affected. Scalar should be as it is. Here, the scalar is as it is taken out, but here the scalar is also squared. Okay, so A is becoming A square, which is not the property of linearity, or which is not a property of linear system. The scalar should be as it is taken out, which is not happening here. So that itself is sufficient to say that it is not a linear system. And how to conclude? How to conclude? Since this is not equal to A times transformation on x1 of t plus b times transformation on x2 of t. Okay, the squaring circuit is non-linear. It's non-linear or not a linear system. Understand this? So this is what is linearity. So if you're able to keep the scalar out as it is, applying the transformation only on signal, then it is linear, which is possible in amplifier, but it is not possible in squaring circuit. So amplifier is a linear network or system, and squaring circuit is a non-linear system. Get that point? Now, the next property that we have here is causality. Okay, so we have causality as the next property. Fine. So the second property is the causality. Okay. And when a system is called as a causal system is what is being defined here. Okay. A system is said to be causal if the output of the system depends only on present or past values of input or on both. Okay. So let me write that here. So the second property that we are seeing is the causality, we call it as. Or causal systems. So when can a system be called as a causal system? Understand that? So that is what we are seeing. So as the definition goes, okay, a system is causal if, okay, the output of the system, if the output of the system depends on the present value of input depends on present value of input or past value of input or both. Okay, so you should understand if the system output depends on present value or past value of the input or both, okay, then the system is called as a causal system. Fine. Now, and there are future values of inputs also. Okay, if the output depends on, that is if output depends on future values of input, then the system is non-causal. If it depends on future values, okay, then it is non-causal system. You should understand this. Fine. Now, can you give me an example of a system, okay, where the output actually depends on the future values of input? Let me give you an example. If you take human beings, ourselves, if we take as example, okay, we can be at times causal and at times we can even be non-causal. That means only human beings are, or to some extent many or most of the living beings, if not all the living beings. Just be very careful when you're listening to me. Human beings or some of the or most of the living beings, if not all the living beings, can be causal as well as non-causal depending on the situations. But if you take a mechanical system which is non-living, mind you, if you take a mechanical system, okay, then mechanical systems can never be non-causal. That means the output of the mechanical system can never depend on the future input. Everybody understand that? Now, for example, if you take ATM machine, what for the ATM machine is on what the output of the ATM machine depends? Can anybody tell me? If you go to ATM machine, what for we are going? We are going there to draw the money, right? We go there to draw the money, or we go there to at least check the balance. If not, we are withdrawing the money. Yes. So what is the output there? Output is what? Let me just show you that. So if you have a ATM machine, which is a system, ATM machine is a system. What is the output of the machine? Let's say withdrawing cash. What did I write? Withdrawing cash is the output. Okay, so we withdraw cash depending on what? Depending on instructions we give. Depending on the instruction that we give. So now we should understand, we draw the money after giving the instructions, or we draw the money before giving the instructions. Simple example. We draw the money, okay, after we give the instructions. That means this output is dependent on past values of inputs. In the past, we have given instructions. In the past means maybe a minute or so before. Okay, 1 minute or 2 minutes before, we've given the instructions. We insert our ATM card. Okay, then we give our PIN. Okay, so these are all inputs. Inserting the ATM card is an input. Okay, entering the PIN is an input. Then entering the amount that we require to withdraw is an input. Okay, so all these inputs are being given before we withdraw. So this is the present. Suppose this is the present value of, this is the present time when I'm drawing the input. You should understand. Okay, I'm here on the timeline. I'm here. Everybody understand that? So when I'm at the output, okay, when I'm at the output, and if the output is where the timeline is, if timeline is here, this is the present. This is present. Okay, and this is past. So the output that is happening, okay, in the present is dependent on past values of the inputs. Understand that? So ATM machine is an example for causal system. It need not depend also on present value. If it depends on past value, it is sufficient. It also depends on present value of the inputs means what? No, that is not possible here. Okay, we have to give the instructions first, then drawing money is possible. So when we are drawing money, and this is where our timeline is. Timeline is means present. If this is your present, okay, then giving instructions is past. So the output is dependent on past values of input. In that sense, ATM is an what? Causal system. Okay, can you give me another example of causal system? I've told you all the examples you take, or all the mechanical systems that you take are causal systems. Give me another example. So this is example number 1, wherein we give the instructions, okay, and we draw the money. Okay, so can you give me another example of this sort? Anybody would like to do that? Nobody?
Printer, sir.
Printer? So can you just elaborate on that?
Sir, first we have to give instructions, then only we can get
What
hard
type of
copy.
instructions that we have to give? Okay, if we open the window for printing, then that window will come out. Okay, then how many copies we need, or in which paper that we are taking the input, taking the printout. So all that would come, right? So printer machine, yes. So printer is an example. Okay, so which are the inputs to that? Opening the window, where the print option is there. Then how many pages needs to be printed? How many pages? So this is another input. Okay, what size is another input. So these are all the inputs that we give before we have our printout. So when we are taking the printout, that is our present. Okay, so in present, the output that we are getting is dependent on past value of the inputs. So in that sense, any mechanical system you take is an example of what? Causal system. Can you tell me how human beings can be non-causal? Anybody? I told you, right? Human beings can be causal also and non-causal also. Heg bekhage turn ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಜನ ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ. So on lighter side. So we can be non-causal as well as causal. So can you tell me rather, when can we be non-causal systems? When can we be non-causal systems? That means the output or what we do or what we gain is also dependent on future values of inputs. Can you give me that example? When can a human being be an example for non-causal system? Think. Yeah, think everybody. Fine. Now your internals are coming, right? You said it is on 29th, right? So 29th is the what? Internals. Fine. Now for the internals that we have on 29th, okay, what is that we are doing today? We are studying and gaining the knowledge. Okay, gaining the knowledge today if is an output. Gaining the knowledge is an output, means reading is an input. Fine. Okay, after reading we are gaining the knowledge. So for gaining knowledge, we are just reading is not the only thing that we are doing. Okay, there is another purpose for gaining the knowledge. We read is the input, we gain knowledge is the output. So we gain knowledge depends on the input, past input that we read for that or we study for that. Okay, there is another input to this which is in future. What is that? What is another input to that? Taking that input into consideration, or you can call that as output, but you can also call that as input, because that is triggering us to do what we are doing today. What we have to gain good marks is another input. See, you have to gain good marks, so please read. So somebody is giving us the instructions, right? So you have to gain good marks, so please read. Two instructions are given. You have to gain good marks, which happens in future, and you should read for that. It happens in past. Okay, at present, what is that I'm doing? I'm gaining the knowledge. So gaining the knowledge, if it is an output, that depends on the past input, that is preparing for the internals. Okay, and gaining the knowledge also depends on the input that I'm going to gain good marks in future if I do it today, if I gain knowledge today. So in that sense, a student preparing for examination or internals is an example for non-causal system. We are not only reading in past to prepare or gain knowledge in present, but gaining knowledge in present is also dependent on another input which is triggering us or which is motivating us to gain knowledge today. What is that? Something that we gain in future, the marks, the good marks, or by the end of 4th year, if we gain knowledge today, okay, there is somebody telling us that, see, you can get a very good company, you can get recruited in very good company. That's an input that I'm getting. But when would that happen? That would happen in the future. But for that, I'm gaining today. What is that I'm gaining? So gaining knowledge today. So in that sense, human being can be non-causal. Understand that? There is another, can you give me another example wherein the human being can act as a causal system? Non-causal, I've told you. So that means on future thing also it depends. Okay, we deposit money, we invest money today. Okay, what it depends on? Investing money today is not only depending on the money that I have earned in the past, but it also, investing today also depends on the returns I get in the future. So that is also an input. Because of the future advantage I have, okay, and because I have the money earned in past, I'm investing today. Investing today is actually the output. Okay, so that is another non-causal. Can you give me the example for causality, taking human being for consideration? When can I be, or when can we human beings be causal? Give me an example. It only depends on past or present. Only depends on past or present. Any scenario you can think of? Yeah.